Thus makes my tingo skra, pop pop ka ka ka.
Are you any better at that, Carson? Can you do that?
Tingo Scra. Pa pa pa. You like that?
Just a few short years ago, Call Me Carson was one of the biggest up-and-coming creators on YouTube. But due to some serious allegations made about him, his career was cut short, and he ended up leaving the internet
podcast?
for over a year.
Oh, okay, I've never heard about it.
Talking about one of the most beloved Minecraft YouTubers known as Carson, who there's been rumors circulating. I've heard this from other YouTubers that he was basically with his underage fans, you know, sending eggplant emojis. They were sending back peach emojis. You know what we're talking about.
Today, he's returned to YouTube, and he's doing pretty well for himself, but it's unlikely he'll ever be able to return to the amazing heights he was at just a few years ago. I mean, this guy was literally at the top of YouTube. He was collaborating with PewDiePie, and while he's not completely rock bottom now, he probably will never reach the absolute peak he was at just a few years ago, being in the cultural zeitgeist of the internet at large, and being one of the most culturally important people on YouTube for a few years. So what happened? If you actually go to his YouTube channel, you can see that he's been posting on YouTube for over 10 years at this point. As early as 2013, he was making Minecraft videos, showing off little moments he found memorable. But these videos were not really notable in any way at the time. They were just run-of-the-mill Minecraft videos made by a middle schooler with no real vision for success on YouTube. It wouldn't be until years later when he was in college that he started to actually take it a lot more seriously. Around the time that Overwatch was popular, Carson attempted to hop on the bandwagon by recording himself over gameplay while coming up with various puns related to the names of the characters.
I wanted you to keep going with like the Overwatch puns, dude, but
no, it was
all
those
gone now.
videos were so they were so unbelievably bad.
Dude,
what were those
that's
videos?
why I think I liked them.
I sat in front of my microphone for like 5 minutes and then just like spitballed puns for Overwatch characters and then spammed it on Reddit.
I think that's like majority of like YouTube creators though. Isn't that like what everybody does? Like they sit there like writing a script and making the stupidest joke like 50 times until they're like, oh, that's a banger. That's gonna hit. Hi, Erlen, how you doing?
You would
wait. It was literally just you sitting there making puns.
Audio moment? What do you mean audio moment?
That's what Schlatt's content is now.
But these videos didn't really gather any major traction for his channel. It was mostly him screaming into the void and attempting to get any amount of traction he could. But then in 2018, two trends emerged on YouTube. One being Reddit reaction videos, and the other being the resurgence of Minecraft. These Reddit videos were basically a very simple format. A few friends would sit around and react to posts from subreddits like r/niceguys or r/amItheasshole and just laugh at them and give their own commentary. The appeal of these videos is that it felt like a group of friends just sitting around on a couch and laughing at some funny posts, which is exactly what it was, except they were, you know, calling on Discord. Audiences were able to develop very strong parasocial bonds with these creators and felt like they were a part of their friend group. If you were lonely at like 2-3 a.m. in the morning, who else would you watch other than Carson to see that, you know, a bunch of people were hanging out, having fun, reacting to stuff, and you felt like you were in on the fun. At the same time, Minecraft, a game that had previously left the YouTube meta and was forgotten, returned to the zeitgeist. People remembered how classic the game was and just how much fun could be had. The possibilities were literally endless. And so
I've like not played Minecraft properly in like ages, like ancient times. Like this will be ancient times for some. I do wonder one day, I wonder if one day I'll have the interest to actually go just take a look at it and try all of those crazy mods that people have made, because I bet with the popularity that Minecraft has received, it must have like the coolest mods and servers that ever exist. It must be so fun. But I don't know, maybe one day, I don't know.
Carson used
My
both
game
of
list
these
is a little
trends
bit
to
big
his
now.
advantage to grow his channel.
I have so many questions.
Now that I have eaten my family, I will never be grounded. Let us out. Is that Caillou?
Yeah. Who else would it be?
These reaction videos would often get upwards of 5 million views, with them being posted on a regular basis. So Carson was really raking in some major cash and growing his audience. At the same time, over on the Call Me Carson live channel, he was posting Minecraft content, but not just any Minecraft content.
We're doing an SMP where everyone streams. You can't play without streaming, and also there's hits. So you can pay money to any of these streamers, and they will, with their indicated price that they'll give you, and they will have a hit on another streamer that you can go have them kill, and they will really face
that sounds smart.
It will be awesome.
Damn.
This would be a new horizon for Minecraft creators, and it would birth a lot of new people like Dream, Technoblade, and a lot of...
Is this how the SMP whole thing started? Is Carson the originator of the Minecraft SMPs?
People that really came up and became some of the biggest creators of their generation. This brings us to SMP Live. SMP Live was a survival multiplayer event that began on March 1st, 2019. The premise was simple. Carson had made a private server that was invite only, specifically for creators.
That's big.
Whenever a creator was on, they were supposed to be streaming their experience to their audience. This meant that all of Carson's peers would be sharing their audience with him, as well as him sharing his audience with them, directing traffic between their channels and vice versa. It really was a community event where both old and new creators would attempt to be as entertaining as possible to a live
What is
audience.
this game? I see that it's Crash Bandicoot, but what is this Crash Bandicoot version? Like, what is he gaming here in the background? I've never seen this game before. Did they make a Crash Bandicoot like multiplayer of some form? Like, I've never seen this.
And the ability for viewers to pay a streamer to go assassinate another creator allowed for a new level of audience interaction that hadn't really been seen before.
Huh.
SMP Live was a breakout success, with every video Carson posted
Minecraft Obama. What a classic.
on it getting millions of views.
It's a great, fantastic, beautiful server.
But like, yeah, everyone's gone. It's been collecting dust.
Imagine if I played WoW with Trump. Imagine if I had Asman and McConnell and we had Trump playing with us on Discord. Wow. If we did a dungeon together. Bro, that would be funny. I think they are onto something. Just inviting a random politician and just like playing like a random game. That sounds great. That would be so fun.
We have been collecting dust.
Can you imagine? Greatest content ever. That would be one wild stream. Holy.
To understand Carson's rise to success, it's important to understand two main factors. Firstly, his humor. People found his constant irony and kind of random XD type stuff very funny, to the point where his Twitter account was regularly getting an unreal amount of likes. He was getting Donald Trump numbers at his peak. Okay, not quite that many, but he was getting a lot of likes off of saying basically nothing. I do not do my taxes because I do not like them. End of story. 55,000 likes. 10,000 8-ball wins and no girlfriend. 64,000 likes. For a period of time there, Carson was actually Himothy. He was at the top of the YouTube game. He was really killing it, and people thought he was hilarious. He also
Yeah, I remember his tweets. I've never watched his videos, but I did follow his Twitter account because all of the tweets he posted were so dumb. They were funny. They were great. I think it was great.
Played up this like sort of loser virgin computer programmer, you know, Scott the Woz type persona a little bit, and that definitely played to his strengths, right? Because he has a certain look to him that people thought was funny. But the important thing to remember as well is that he couldn't have done it alone. The second thing you have to understand about Carson is he never could have succeeded in a vacuum. The very appeal of his channel was that watching him was also watching his friend group.
You know what's funny? Is that the first time, so I follow Carson randomly on Twitter. I saw him randomly on Twitter and saw his tweets, and they kept on showing up and they were funny, so I ended up following. First time I saw actually him and heard him speak was on the Raj show, or Austin show as it's called now, and he was doing this date show thingy, and one of the girls that won, it was like basically it's like 10 girls or 10 dudes, and then there's a one guy or one girl that is meant to select the winner after just like asking questions and stuff like that. And there was like one girl that won, and they ended up meeting up after it. Usually it's just meant for content, but they actually met up and started dating. And I remember the tragedy around this because that girl was actually not only dating Carson, but she was dating like 5 other content creators at the same time. Like she was playing like around with every content creator, and I think most of them were in this misfit group as well, which is the weirdest part of it all.
People like Fitz,
Yeah, that guy, Fitz guy, I remember that.
Schlatt, Connor Eats Pants, Josh, and well over 100 other people were working together.
That
to
was a
create this
weird
giant
time. I
shared
just
group.
remember that. That's some old Twitch stuff. Holy shit.
Of people who were all watching all of these dudes. That also meant, though, that if Carson did
Old
not have
Twitch
the direct support
drama.
of all of these people, his own channel would suffer greatly. At the peak of his
Not that
success,
old, though.
Carson decided to go on a show
2020?
called The Bachelor.
Not
Sorry,
2019?
not The Bachelor, The Rajshler.
There it is. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Caterino, where is she?
Was basically to have a game show on Twitch where 10 contestants, either male or female, compete to be with one YouTube celebrity. Over the course of this episode, there were a lot of funny moments, but ultimately it was clear that there was a bit of a chemistry between Carson and one of the contestants named Caterino.
There she, yeah, Caterino.
Now, the premise of the show is that each contestant will pick love or host, meaning if they win, they will either one, go on a date, I guess, with the star of the show, or number two, get hosted on Raj's Twitch channel and get all of his viewers for a night. So it's like, do you want to go on a date with a person? Do you actually like them, or are you just using the event for views? That's the question.
And honestly, nobody ever went on a, I don't think anybody went on a date. It was just purely show all of it. So, you know.
At the end of it, Caterino ended up choosing love, and it seemed like she actually maybe did like Carson a little bit. She said he was cool. Such a beautiful, romantic story, okay? Autistic
cool
YouTuber
game.
meets his perfect trad sweetie. Truly a story for the ages. We can never hope for something better or more inspiring, boys. The incel arc is over. We're actually all going to make it for real, and
finally,
it's just amazing, okay? Their kids are going to be great looking. So they go off stream, they go make out, kiss, make babies, I guess. They ended up meeting up in real life, actually, and they made a bunch of content together, and people really loved it. It was like sort of a cute couple content moment. People thought it was funny. It really warmed people's hearts.
Why do guys only want bitchy bimbos who walk all over them?
Why are you locked in the bathroom? You talking to me? Maybe you should try getting a job.
What was that?
But as you may notice, the entire comment section is filled with people calling Caterino here a cheater. So at some point, some people were speculating on what was up with Carson. He didn't seem to be posting as much, and a few people speculated that it had something to do with Caterino. Carson then ended up confirming this on Reddit. I can't find this now, but I promise I'm not schizo. I know this happened. That basically Caterino had cheated on him in some regard. Immediately, the entire internet blew up, calling her a thought.
The thing is that it wasn't only that. The thing is that right after you found out who she was cheating on, the last guy was not a content creator, but most of them were, and one of them were Fitz. I remember this shit. It was a wild period. It was funny.
Kind of stuff. And it got even worse when people found out that I guess the person she
how you
did
doing,
this with, like either cheated with or was running around behind his back in some regard with, was one of Carson's friends, Fitz. So now Fitz and her look like assholes, and Carson is just this innocent sweetie pie who did nothing wrong. Poor fella. Let's get him some Pedialyte and a foot rub before bed. This got even more intense as the number of men roped into this situation climbed higher and higher. Some people claimed it was...
Again, the thing is that it just kept piling up. So I know it sounds weird, and it is weird, but imagine yourself as a viewer and you watch a content creator, right? You watch a content creator and there's another content creator, they're dating. And suddenly you hear that they are having a cheating moment. You're not trying to be parasocial. You don't give a shit. You know, they deal with their own thing. If somebody's cheating, that sucks. And they got to figure it out. They got to deal with their own thing. I don't care about that. It is what it is. But then you keep hearing that another dude, she was cheating with this guy, and it was a content creator. And then you hear there was another dude she cheated with again. And another one. And another one. And it kept piling up. And that's when it became really weird. And think it's something that really circulated a lot, because it just kept, you never knew how many men she was cheating on while like dating your favorite content creator or stuff like that. It was just so weird.
As high as 8 different guys that were involved. I don't think that was true at all. I think that's just kind of how the rumor mill online works. Things spiral out of control. In reality, the real number was 5 men, I believe. Which 5 is still men, a lot, but it is less than, you know, people.
Yeah, the thing is that there was way more they kept on like rumoring about, but yeah, I think it ended up 5 men. But still, can you imagine dating a girl and she's cheating with you with 4 other dudes like that? Dude, what the hell? Like, if you're a girl, can you imagine dating a dude and he's cheating with you with like literally 4 other girls? Like, it's the same thing. That's nuts.
Speaking about Kate, we talked about
our fearless leaders up, bro. Not much, dude. We just chilling. How you doing, Trophy?
Like right after the drama alert,
5v1, damn, she good. Yeah. How do you play that off for so long publicly, though? That is impressive.
Roll it. I found out.
This girl, yeah. Oh my god, I remember it was Dominate as well. This was the weirdest one. This was a big League of Legends streamer. So she was dating, she was fooling around with 2 big YouTube content creators and then big Twitch streamers. I remember, like, how do you do this?
About the situation today, if you guys don't know about the Caterino situation, She made a video where she admitted that she had a boyfriend, and while she had a boyfriend, she was leading on Carson. She had like.
Does this guy still make content? I haven't seen him in so many years.
Carson, as well as a relationship with Fitz. During this time, she also had some sort of emotional / physical relationship with me. I did not know about any of this stuff. Obviously,
I know a girl that slept her way to the WoW Classic team works on the game now. Wait, what? She slept her way to work on the game? What the what?
Going into it, like, I just take people's word at face value, and people that know me, know my channel, like, I don't really, like, talk about girls I've been with, etc. On my channel, you know, it's not really relevant. I don't feel like it's your guys' business. If I have, like, a long-term girlfriend or something, I'll introduce you guys to her, but I don't really want to, talk about it. Jesus Christ, this is so weird.
So weird,
I don't really want to talk
dude.
about it too in depth.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Dom is real. It's so
yeah, like
weird.
around September of last year. Yeah, I'm not gonna upload this to YouTube.
Network.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, and now apparently there's a fifth. I mean, there's a rumor of a fifth.
Meanwhile, Carson ended up posting a statement saying he regretted ever making the information public and that he wishes he had kept it all behind the scenes. And I agree, honestly, there was no need to make this public as shitty of a story as it was, as shitty as Kate was, I guess, to him. It just really didn't need to be made public. That being said, given these are all public figures and they're all making dating couple content, it's not shocking to me that it did get out eventually. And especially Carson, he doesn't strike me as someone with a ton of dating experience. And so as a result, when he gets his feelings hurt, he probably doesn't know exactly how to handle that. And obviously he is kind of new to being a public.
He's kind of young as well. Like, in the end of the day, I mean, internet is most what he knows. So maybe he just didn't know how to respond to it.
Figure at this point in time, so he just didn't handle it the best. He ended up confirming it on Reddit, and he got a lot of hate on Kate. He didn't really need to, but he did. It's been very difficult for me to watch everything unfold after I came out with the information I did on Reddit. It's my personal belief that I should have never made any of the information that's out now public. It was a private matter that should have stayed private, and I want to admit I'm at complete fault for it being in the public eye. I put it out there in hopes that I could finally move past it, and every day I woke up feeling resentful, immature, and petty. It hurt me to think that two people could do something like this to me and get away with it, so in an emotionally impulsive response, I put it in front of the world. That was the wrong decision because at the end of the day, no one is entitled to this information besides the parties involved. It's actually true, and that's a very mature response with this kind of relationship type stuff. Ultimately, while they were making couple content, regardless of that, I don't think the public was entitled to any of the private details that may have gone on with their relationship. And so as a result, I think it probably would have been for the best if people just like were not really privy to that instead of Carson putting it out there. But as he himself said, he was in an emotionally vulnerable state and he made a bad decision. Just like Kate and just like Fitz, I'm an entertainer that creates content for people, and what I do in my personal life, even if it's wrong, isn't information that I think should be shared. As someone who's been dealing with imposter syndrome and the inability to go out in public without being recognized, even to my hometown grocery store, I should have realized the hypocritical nature of putting this situation on display for all of you.
I think people should take that into some content creator got to take that more into account. Like, there are so many, at least Vtuber, holy shit, there are so many that uses their like social platform as a way to tell you about everything happening behind door. There's so many confrontations and so many like arguments that could 100%, like I think 95% of creator discussions could honestly be handled like in DMs. There are so many things that are just being said publicly in a large statement or trying to like push someone in a formal direction once they could, which could just have been like a purely a DM instead of taking it public. Like I wish more to that. Holy shit.
I have no idea how much I appreciate the support you've given me recently, and it's helped me immensely to know that I have all of you to fall
I think
back
it would
on.
take them
That
further
being
as
said,
well.
I think it's important to say this. I'm as just as flawed as a human as Kate. I'm as flawed of a human as Fitz. I'm also just as flawed of a human as Keemstar. I am flawed. It was pretty funny to see that I think Keemstar responded to this twitlonger being like, I'm not fucking flawed.
I'm
Seeing
not
everyone's
flawed.
support is awesome. But knowing that next week it could all be flipped on me is terrifying.
I'm perfect.
not perfect and I make mistakes.
Holy
What Kate
shit.
did and Fitz did was wrong.
That's
I think we
funny.
can all acknowledge that, but seeing myself paraded around in such a manner feels misplaced. So here he seems to even be alluding to the fact that there may be something behind the scenes that if the public knew, they wouldn't like him just as much as they don't like Kate. But he's sort of reflecting on that and saying like, I'm not sort of someone to be paraded. I'm not like a huge victim. I'm just someone who is involved in like an interpersonal interaction. This is actually a very mature take that I feel like not a lot of people talked about this kind of
Yeah, I never
perspective,
seen
which is
this
like,
either.
Well, what Kate did was wrong. It just didn't need to be made public at all, you know? I mean, regardless of how you feel about her, it didn't need to be made public whatsoever. Next week, it could hypothetically be me in front of the public eye having done something wrong in my private life because I'm just as susceptible to making poor decisions as anyone. Whoa. Foreshadowing. shadowing this guy knew, dude. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life that I'm not proud of, and to think of myself in Kate and Fitz's shoes makes me feel sorry for them. Moving forward, please respect Kate and Fitz's time to process this, as well as respect their break or whatever they choose to do. To Kate and Fitz, I'm sorry for all the pain I've caused you, and I'm sorry for putting your private lives on display for the world. It was the wrong decision, and I apologize. You did wrong, but you didn't deserve to have your careers jeopardized. I hope you both can become the people I want to see you be. Anyways, that's about it. I'm gonna go back to playing 8-ball now. I think it's safe to assume that Carson acted very irrationally. I mean, not even assume, we know he acted irrationally, and he definitely regretted making this a big public thing at the time. Probably also safe to say that Fitz and him were no longer friends at this point, given what happened. Probably for the best, and honestly, regardless of what Fitz did, it was kind of shaky as to whether Carson and Kate were dating or not. Later on, Kate would claim that Carson and her were never ever dating, and she made it clear to him she never wanted to, and his feelings just kind of got wrapped up in that regardless, even though all she wanted to do was make content. And so, was it really cheating if she slept with Fitz? I mean, that's the real question. She did cheat on her actual boyfriend, though, I believe, who was completely out of this situation, was just like a normal guy.
It's just a normal dude.
The public eye. Regardless of that, it's probably for the best that all these people just go their separate ways.
Dude,
but the internet was
so
not done with
weird.
Caterino, who was getting absolutely pounded in comment sections harder than any of her 5 boyfriends ever could. She ended up making an apology video in which she stated that she was
She's still memed upon, and I didn't realize how long this video is. She's still memed upon in Twitch culture. Like, that meme is still sticking around. There are some Twitch memes that will never die. There are some things in Twitch culture that has been around for so long, and they will stay there forever. A lot of things that are ancient is still remembered to this day. They're not often used, but they are still remembered by the earlier frogs.
Depersonalizing as a mental health explanation for what she did, and that became like the meme of the month.
Hey guys, I'm sorry this took so long.
Blacked.com.
Processing things and thinking things through.
Yeah, this is the original Twitch stream or video. She had black.com next to her. That's right.
Possibly could. And I want to be honest.
This is 100% how she released it.
Carson was very complicated. I had a boyfriend at the time, and neither Carson nor my boyfriend at the time knew about each other. And while I was clear with Carson that Carson and I were not in a relationship, I still led him on and ended up hurting Carson and my boyfriend at the time very badly in the process. I am now seeing a therapist, and although I didn't realize it at the time, I was dealing a lot with depersonalization, and I felt like I was 2 different people living 2 different lives. I felt like a passenger in my own body. I ignored very conflicting feelings and thoughts, and I was very lost and confused, and I didn't know what I wanted or what was important to me. And this was when I
Only thing I'll remember about Summit is the monitor smash, man.
I handled it very similarly to how I handled
Outdoors dope, looking really good. Thank you, man.
I depersonalized.
You do a lot of things.
And
of these 2
I
outfits.
was very lost and confused and didn't know what I wanted, and made a lot of bad decisions because of that. And I hurt both him and Carson.
Oh, she's yapping. Dude, I haven't watched this in a long time. Holy shit.
Carson and I streamed together, and his community very much saw us as a couple, which we encouraged.
Oh, other person though thinks that YouTube apologies means absolutely nothing. They are only used to
felt
last-ditch
really
effort to retain their viewers. I think
such a positive impact on so
I think the best thing is to never respond to negative comments and never apologize. Unless you personally feel like you have done something that there is no way for you to move on without apologizing, it's best to just keep making content. In the end of the day, people need to understand often that content creators and YouTubers are there to produce content, not to talk about personal feelings or acts. They are so if you are there and you are creating content, you should just keep making content. And I bet like the people that are mad will probably forget about it. Now, again, I am not talking about every situation that has ever happened on YouTube and Twitch. I'm saying just that's usually how it is. If you've done something illegal, that's straight to the cops. You know, that's That ain't the internet or Reddit or 4chan discussion thread. That's to the police. But if you've done something that your community or somebody or someone deems to be wrong or not right or whatever, then, you know, it's your choice how you wish to continue on. But for me personally, I have never seen an apology video and be like, oh yeah, I get it now. No worries, homie. Thank you. Thank you for that apology. Thank you so much. Dude, now I get it. I love you, man. I personally just want, I don't know. Like, if I don't know them personally, like if I don't know them directly, like nothing of this will matter at all. Like, it doesn't matter. I just watch somebody for the content. But if I know them personally, like let's say, like you know, it's like my friends, then it's a completely different case and matter. And I'll watch that apology. I'll watch that discussion about a situation, and it will go more deeply to heart because now I have a relation to them, you know. That's a completely different thing. But if it's just a content creator I've been watching for 2 years and they did something stupid I'd never heard about and they apologize, I'm like, what the hell is this? Where's the haha video? Where is the entertainment? Stop posting this nonsense.
Many people, and I'm sorry to all those people that I let down and disappointed. There are so many things I could have done better.
Just ignore it till it goes away. Yeah, that's the best thing.
And I was lost and confused, and I ended up hurting.
We had a dude that did, you know, I'm not gonna say that. Somebody on Twitch did something really fucked up, like a few years ago. Like something really, really fucked up. You know what he did? He put it on sub only mode for a month, and his mods banned anyone mentioning it. Now he's still having over 1,000 viewers and doing fine, and nobody's talking about it. So in the end of the day, if you did nothing that is bad, that just some specific people, like I'm taking the reason why I'm using a fucked up situation is just to clarify that if there's a small minority of people that have an issue and that you don't find it to be an issue and you're just chilling, you're just having fun, you're just making content, you're making a lot of people laugh, the best way to transition forward is most of the time often just not commenting about it. Like just not saying anything. Often you might just dig your own grave even deeper.
Cared about, and in the future I want to be
How
better.
did they mention it if they couldn't type? Because they were sub.
Which is why I'm taking further time
That's
off
why.
streaming. And I'm working through my depersonalization.
I think I know who you're
Still
talking
seeing my
about.
therapist.
Yeah, I mean,
And I want
old
to live my
streamer,
life
still
more
streaming to this
openly
day.
and honestly, and more than anything, I want to be honest with myself, which is something that I've.
How long is she talking?
What a lot of people may not realize is that Caterino, I mean, she wasn't a complete nobody before she went on the Roshler with Carson, but getting on that show with him and then making content with him absolutely like made her career almost overnight. She got way bigger from that. And as a result, when she had this drama, all of that got ripped away from her because all of her new fans had come from Call Me Carson. And they were also the most loyal parasocial fans who like loved Carson and wanted to see him do well and cared about his well-being as a person rather than just liking his content. And so as a result, when this drama happened, she lost literally everything. I think maybe the lesson here is don't do couple content if one person is more emotionally invested than the other. Maybe there's some other lesson in here, but yeah, just was a bad situation overall. Oh, the other lesson is don't make a private situation public unless you absolutely have to. Like if there's like some predation going on, which in this case there was not. It was just like, you know, Twitch people hoeing around, getting lubed up, you know, that kind of thing. Just didn't need to be made public, really. After a short break,
be ready
for
your
Carson
stream.
comes
Be
back
lubed
after a
up.
week and a half and makes content again to a huge applause from the audience. I mean, he gets 50,000 viewers live on his first stream back. Friendship with Fitz and the Misfits at large in the Caterito community is now ended, but the friendship with Jay Schlatt, Josh, and other people is strengthened. Schlatt even...
Bro, being friends with Schlatt sounds like a pure content machine. Your Twitch career is like, yeah, this is not doing that well. Okay. All right, and she's not doing that well. I mean, it's all right, then, you know. Dude, Schlatt is a
called into
content
Carson's
machine.
first stream back to
Holy.
have a chat with him, and it seemed like a merry old time. Everybody's getting along.
Yeah, just let
Carson's
it
back
be
on
forgotten,
top. The
yeah.
career's not really hurt in any way. I remember watching this and being like, damn, this is like kind of a nice little positive outcome for this drama. Obviously not for Caterino. Uh-oh, but Carson, I mean, he's back on top.
Hey Carson, how are all these pity viewers?
Hey, calm down, dude. You don't have to do your crazy.
It's
laugh.
all right. I'm eating a panini. Oh, that's just not funny.
With the drama behind him, Carson was at the top of his game again.
What?
He was gaming with his friends. He was collaborating with Pokimane. He was reacting to his viewers' videos that they sent through donations. It was a good time. He was back on top where he should have been, and he could just continue his career as
Eating a
usual. His fans
panini.
were still there for him. And honestly, the parasocial bond was a little stronger now because they watched him go through something that was tough to deal with, being, I mean, he felt like he was cheated on. They got that impression too. So they went through that with him. They felt bad for him. They had a common enemy, being Caterino, to destroy. And now they could, you know, follow him for the rest of his career, hopefully.
What do you mean I'm not allowed in the Walmart?
That made me laugh.
Unfortunately, in the same way that private details about him, Caterino, and Fitz would destroy Kate's career entirely. Keep in mind she blew up because of Carson and then was destroyed when that drama happened. Carson's career would be greatly harmed when people found out about his private relationship details and decided to leak it to the public. It actually cost him pretty much everything. And I'm not saying this is like karmic justice or this is like what he deserved, but this is kind of what happened. And I'm curious how self-aware he is of that, or like if he's really considered how his previous interpersonal toxic drama with Kate kind of was mirrored on the opposite side though with him later on, but obviously in a much bigger way because his career was way bigger than hers. Once again, I'm not saying he deserved this. I mean, I like Carson. I think he made mistakes. I don't think he should have deserved to have his career ruined.
What about the next
it's
part?
Kind of just an interesting parallel to see.
Let's get to the bad part.
Very recently. So on January 4th, 2021, an episode of Drama Alert was posted
There we go.
detailing allegations against Carson. Noah, Hugbox, and Travis, two members of Carson's group called the Lunch Club, which was like his little collective. They were doing content together, podcasts. Some other members you may recognize as like Jay Schlatt, Ted Nevison. These guys were all collabing a lot. And these two members, Travis and Noah, appeared on the show to talk about what they believed happened with Carson behind the scenes. Noah Hugbox says that Carson called him to say that he had sexted underage girls who were fans at some point in time to like warn him that this was real. Carson also told Travis soon after that, and I guess told everyone else in the Lunch Club. And I guess the purpose was because they had a business relationship with him, so Carson felt that they should be
I'll
made
let them
aware of
talk.
I saw some of the hints that you were putting out on social media about the people that you look up to aren't really that good guys. And I seen that type of stuff. And again, other YouTubers not involved with Lunch Club at all. I mean, this is like so many people know about this behind the scenes. Many big YouTubers know about this, but it's like one of this case, like, well, I don't have 100% proof. How do I even come out? How do I even like, you know, people are going to think that I'm just mad at Carson or whatever. I understand the situation that everyone has been put into, but at the end of the day, you guys do kind of have proof, right?
I mean, yeah, that he told all of us at the same time. I mean, I'm sure that when this is posted, none of them are going to deny that this is the truth because, I mean, they were there.
Just wait, Buck, yeah.
So
Just wait.
everybody in Lunch Club,
Whenever
was
you
told
hear
firsthand
underage
from-
girls, you think that this is like a big reach of age, right? That's what you assume, right? But what if I told you he's 19 and the one he was texting with was 17? That is a 2-year gap. Less than 2 years because of because of dates. Is that dating an underage girl if you are 19? Is there something wrong with a 19-year-old dating a 17-year-old? Should you get flack for that? We'll keep watching.
Yep.
Like, people are too focused on the factor of legal age in America and legal age. I mean, it's the legal age in America, and it's like, okay, now that you're 18, you cannot date people that are under that. You cannot date 17-year-olds. If there's a less than 2-year gap, if there's 2-year gap, there is nothing wrong. How can you look at that as something wrong? They're both like teens.
Now, in this video, there was no proof of anything that happened apart from the word of mouth of the lunch club, and it was also unknown how old these girls were or anything like that. Meanwhile,
No,
Keemstar
that's not
just sort of
unknown.
talks about allegations of this nature broadly, but there are not a lot of specifics in this video.
It's very
seems
public.
Like you're dealing with like a very anti-social, kind of nerdy individual that all of a sudden is rich, famous, gets all this love, all this attention, but their fans are children, and they're getting that love and attention from children.
He's
and
a
it's
child
like,
as well. With that logic,
what
he's
is
a child
happening?
as
Do you
well.
think that he's attracted to literally underage girls, or is that just who, you know, is sending him love and affection?
And this is the way Keemstar is presenting it. But whenever you hear the age gap, don't you find it to be wrong? That is the way he's presenting it, and obviously it sounds fucked up when you present it like that. And isn't he also known for being autistic? I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that.
This was later elaborated on when a Twitter user named Minnie Borb, is their name actually Minnie Borb, came out on Twitter and
That
claimed she
ain't
was
children.
groomed by
I mean,
Carson. She was
people look
17
at
years
people under 20 to be children. You know what I mean?
old, and he was 19 years old. So no,
Keemstar
he
is
was not
ancient. He's
gooed
like,
or zoomed.
so,
or groomed
you
at
know,
all. That's just not what happened.
it's
They
child
sexted.
for him.
So while some people claimed he was a creep because, you know, whatever, I think there's a lot of misinformation and rumors are going around. A 2-year age gap does not matter. I don't care. Meanwhile, another
See?
side of the audience seemed disappointed in the fact that Carson had let his friends down by risking business opportunities to sext fans, which is a more valid thing, I think, to probably be upset about, at least if he was being dishonest to them. Jay
And
Schlatt,
people were so mad about this as well. He was like canceled for 2 years or something because of this. He didn't stop making content because he was texting a 17-year-old as a 19-year-old. That's just so nuts.
someone who
dude.
was good pals with
So
Carson
nuts.
and had arguably had his career really helped out by Carson's channel from SMP Live through
Man,
all the
RuneScape
content
play,
they
that
would
was
do together.
sad.
Uploaded a
That was
6-minute
so
video
sad, the
talking about
old
the
RuneScape
situation
guy,
on his
dude.
daily slap
You know that
He-
guy died last year? You know that that RuneScape guy died last year? I think he turned 80 or something. It was really sad. Yeah, he died. They had like a funeral in RuneScape and stuff like that.
story he details is that in early 2020, Carson was very depressed, and the Caterino situation made things far worse. Schlatt was there to help him out with these issues he was dealing with at that time. They were often on long Discord calls late into the night, talking about Carson's problems, and Schlatt said that they became pretty tight friends. He and Josh and some of their friends tried to be like a close-knit friend group to help Carson out through these issues, but after some months of trying, it didn't really work, and now Schlatt claims that when he saw the messages that Carson had sent to these young girls, it really disgusted him.
You know, there are always stories I'd hear from his roommates about how he treated them and how he generally just acted that I glossed over, and I shouldn't have. Also, seeing the DMs he exchanged with some of the girls that have come forward absolutely fucking disgusted me.
I mean, sexting is cringy, but from my understanding, these girls were within a realistic age that he could have dated them, and like it wouldn't have been taboo even. Like a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old talking or dating, is that really a problem? Am I really supposed to think that's disgusting at all? But I also have a more woke stance on this. Like, I don't really care about YouTubers sexting fans as long as the fans are of age, like at all. I don't give a shit. I couldn't care less, and I don't think you should care either. I think it's dumb, it's parasocial nonsense, and garbage to care. The problem with YouTubers, you know, getting down and dirty with the fans and DMs is if that fan is like aggressively too young, like if there's like a power imbalance that leads to someone being abused.
Yeah.
And in my eyes, a 19-year-old can't really have that over a 17-year-old unless they're like financially blackmailing or otherwise, you know, blackmailing the 17-year-old into doing things that they don't want to do, you know? If that wasn't happening, which it was not, then it's not that bad. Another problem people seem to have is that like Carson was like sexting this girl and she would want to watch a movie and he'd be like, well, can we just like sext instead? And people were like, oh, he's a bad person. Like, I don't care. But the problem to some people seemed to be less about him messaging random girls and seemed to be more about the fact that Carson had lied to all of his friends and was treating his roommates rather poorly and was just kind of a shitty friend behind the scenes. But at the same time, Schlatt says that Carson used his power to take advantage of vulnerable people.
I feel for all the victims here.
But that's fucked
And to
up. I didn't know about that.
That more people could have been hurt this year while Carson and I were friends, and while I continued to associate with him, and while I believe that he was on the right path, that fucking kills me. You know, I hope all of them have gotten and continue to get the help they need to get through this, because this is a recurring problem now of content creators who take complete advantage of and manipulate the people that care about them the most. I don't think Carson's a file, but that's what he did. He used his power to repeatedly take advantage of vulnerable people.
I mean, is a 17-year-old more vulnerable than a 19 or 20-year-old inherently? Like, what did he really do that's that evil is my question. There are plenty of other people, even people like that Schlatt like knows and hangs out with, who have sexted way more people than Carson did, even people younger, and he still hangs out with
Yeah,
them.
that's what you think whenever they present it like that and you're talking about a 19-year-old, but no.
Because this is like 3 years ago. This is like long dead drama. I don't hate the dude, but it just seems like Carson got more shit than he really needed to. To me, it seems like a bigger problem was just that Carson was a friend to a lot of people and he lied to them, rather than the fact that he really was sexting anyone that was like a real
influence dynamic.
Like,
the thing is that whenever people started pointing out it's 19 and 17, it's not really a big gap, then they would use the defense that it's a power dynamic. Yeah, he's talking to his fans, but like, can't you use that everywhere? Like, I don't know. I don't think there. I mean, yeah, maybe there is a power dynamic, but in the end of the day, you have your own choice. Like, on the end of the day, it's not really that much happening here. I think they would just like, this girl likes him. He's funny. She finds him fun and likes to talk to him and spend time with him. She's a fan, and the guy likes her as well for some reason. You know, it's just what it is.
Like a 13-year-old, I mean, obviously that's a completely different ball game. But if he's 19,
you have this everywhere.
You know, a 17-year-old, like, I don't care. You know, I don't care. But I feel like people shouldn't have cared either. With Carson's friends disavowing him, he didn't really have anyone to make content with anymore, and his audience, which was shared with all of them, were not really inclined to watch his stuff anymore, given the fact that his content was entirely reliant on his friendship with these other creators. You know, part of the problem with Carson that kind of ruined his whole is like, it was baked into the cake that he had this community of people around him, and so when he didn't, like, what was really the point to watching Carson anymore? You know, it's not like he was making content that it was just like him on his own. The appeal was like him interacting with all these guys. When they left, he had nothing. Call Me Carson was all alone, and so Carson just left. He left the internet entirely. He left people to speculate on his friendships and scrutinize his drama. He let his channels completely die. He just dipped for a while. In August of 2021, Carson would return to YouTube. Rather than make an explanation of what went down and really let everyone know his side, he opted to not. Instead, he just made a video saying he would be donating 100% of his next year's profits from streaming to charity. He said he didn't want to drag out the drama anymore. He just wanted to turn a negative situation into something that would help some people out.
Now,
Sounds
before
good.
you start thinking of this as an excuse to sweep
Is he
things under the
balding?
rug, that's not what this is. I'm doing this because I want to turn a negative situation with a lot of eyes on it into something positive that can help a lot of people.
Today, he's posting to YouTube, including some of his classic content that made him popular in the first place. But as you can imagine, the people he used to collaborate with, like Jay Schlatt and Josh, are no longer on board.
You look really good, man. Hey, Matt. Matt, I see you,
Small animals. His channel is doing well. He's definitely making enough money to live off of, and I'm sure all the money he donated to charity was much appreciated by those that received it. But it's unlikely that Carson will ever return to the heights he was at back in the day. Most of the people he was collaborating with back in the day are not doing much better than him, but that's to be expected given the sheer volume of people he was collaborating with. But meanwhile,
it has
Jay
a
Schlatt is
spike
killing it,
range.
and
That's the
Nevison
thing.
is doing very well. Everyone just kind of went their separate ways, and that's how life is sometimes. And it's kind of silly to beg these people to do content together, but it is nice to reminisce on, you know, that period of time. Sometimes I wasn't really into their content back then. I knew a lot of people who were, though, and they were like absolutely in love with what was going on with Carson and SMP Earth and SMP Live and all this stuff that was going on. And you know, looking back at this content, it's not hard to see why it appealed to so many people. Carson, I think, regardless of the sexting itself, you know, and that not really being a problem to me, he clearly got famous super young. He didn't really know how to handle these unaddressed problems in his life, like his anxiety, his imposter syndrome. Apparently he was quite depressed for a while, so that too. Meanwhile, the fact that his friends dropped him so quickly means that he probably was not the best friend to them beforehand, and that's why they kind of were willing to, you know, publicly it seemed like they dropped him quickly, but behind the scenes, I think these friendships had been fracturing a lot over time, and, you know, we just found out all at the same time. And because Carson's entire career was tied to all these dudes, the second they cut their own ties to him, he sank right to the bottom. Maybe if he had tried to debunk the allegations when they came out, sort of like White or Slazo, then things could have been different. You know, if he had made the classic 20-minute video where he sits down on Facecam and is like, this is this happened,
No.
you know, this is when this happened,
No.
this screenshot proves that this didn't happen, I'm not a groomer, I'm just a gooner.
I'm not a groomer. I'm just a loser.
Dude, that is a
You know, if he had just
tragedy.
done that, maybe
How
it could've
could
been
she
a lot
make that
different,
and think,
but
yeah,
he
this
just
looks
kinda
good,
ran
let's
away. He
release
didn't wanna
that.
deal with it. He ran,
Bro.
hiding like he's Ann. And at the end of the day, I think even if he had made a video like that, probably he would have lost his viewership in large anyway, and he'd be where he is now, because once again, those friendships, those connections, the collaborations are really what made his channel appealing. And without that, I mean, he just kind of sank to the bottom, you know? He ran. hiding like he's Ant. Thanks for watching this video all the way to the
Forgot
end. Hopefully you
ukulele
guys liked hearing me
lady.
talk about Carson.
You'll
a few
remember
years
it for a
later. If you
bit,
guys liked
man.
it, be sure to leave
It's
a
gonna
like if you
reappear
disliked
here
it,
and there.
dislike, and leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys
Jesus.
think. Do you agree with my assessment of things? Do you disagree? Let me know.
I
I'll
do
catch you
actually
all in
agree.
tomorrow's video, which will be coming out tomorrow. Bye. And
I kind of do agree about most of the things he talked about here. That was a pretty fucking good video, man. I haven't seen this channel before.